Hello and a very warm welcome to this year-ender special where we give you the 21 most memorable moments from the world of sports. This is a year that's gone by quickly. It has also been an Olympic year. We've seen, lots of wonderful moments from the world of sports. We've been thrilled by some of them. Some of them have obviously, been something that we've been emotional about. So there were lots of moments, and we decided to give you the 21 top moments. Abhishek Paul is here with me to look at those moments. Also joining me is our ace cueist, Pankaj Advani, 24 times world billiards and snooker champion. Thank you so much, Pankaj, for taking the time out to talk to us. He's going to help us rank these moments. We're going to ask him about his top 5 moments as well. But 2021, Pankaj, it's a year that's, has seen its fair share of ups and downs, with COVID, of course, wreaking havoc. What has the year been like for you? I know that you went and won 2 back-to-back titles. There was, of course, the Asian snooker title that you got, as well as the 6 Red World Cup. Then you finished at the top of the World Cup qualifiers, or the World Championship, in fact, World Snooker Championship qualifiers. Tell us more about what the year was like, and nothing seems to stop you. You didn't get a lot of tournaments, and yet you went ahead and won wherever you participated.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I do believe that 2021, had its share of ups and downs, especially with the COVID situation and people really struggling in so many areas. And even in the world of sport, we didn't have many events. Having said that, we still did witness the Olympics. We still had some major international events. And I just believe that a sports person's mantra is that whatever you get, you take it, you seize the opportunity and make the most of it. And that's exactly what I did. Because after almost 2 years, we got to play major international tournaments, and I didn't expect much from myself. Probably that was the best thing, because I went there with zero expectations and I came back with 2 major international titles. So it's been a wonderful year for Indian sport, in general, because obviously we've got our largest medal haul in the Olympics. We have some trailblazers, we have some new stars coming up and showing us that, what they're capable of. And I'll be more than happy to discuss Indian sports and all its memorable moments of 2021.
Yes, and we can't wait. But Abhishek, it was a difficult one, really, because this is an Olympic year. There were so many moments. There were so many brilliant achievements, sporting achievements. There was drama off the field as well, controversies. So it was difficult to sort of put down 21. The good thing is this is 2021. So we got 21 moments. That was good enough. If we had to choose 10 moments, I think we'd have serious arguments there.
True.
But what are the things that we looked at when we tried to get this out? Because I think what people will be wondering is this Indian sporting achievements or international sporting achievements? So
mainly when we picked the News9 sports team picked these 21 movements, of course, we looked at the overall impact that these sporting movements had. The focus was obviously more on the Indian side of it. Like you can see on the screen, we picked up Neeraj, and then India's test win in Australia. There's Aditi Ashok making a mark, as Pankaj said. But there's Kidambi Shrikant, who won a silver medal at the World Championship. But we mixed it up with the global events too, like Max Verstappen winning the F1 title. Then there's Tiger Woods' accident that happened. Then Novak Djokovic, how can you forget that man? He equaled the great Roger Federer. So overall, we looked at the impact, and on certain cases, the unexpected part of it, like frankly, Neeraj Chopra's gold medal, it was kind of unexpected. And then maybe the events where the sporting spirit came out above everything, like 2 high jumpers sharing the gold medal. So that was our criteria.
That's right. So you can see 21 of those memorable moments as we've been talking about. And at number 13, Ronaldo's fans and Manchester United fans were overjoyed with Ronaldo's homecoming after 12 years. There is, of course, Sunil Chhetri, the man who's carried India to football glory. He overtook Pele. There's, of course, India's record medal haul. Something that, as a sports journalist, it was great to see, having covered Indian sports for this long. There's, of course, Ajaz Patel taking 10 wickets in Mumbai, third after Jim Laker and Anil Kumble. The one thing that stood out for me, and in fact, Abhishek and I, we were having this conversations about mental health.
True.
And how today sportsmen and women are prioritizing mental health. They're talking about it. And in turn, this is helping other sportsmen, women to come out and talk about it, to understand what it takes to be in a profession such as sport, where everything depends on winning a title. Your life's worth depends on what you win or what you lose. So a lot of moments, but let's get straight into it. Pankaj, Neeraj Chopra's gold at the Olympics. Now, this is not in any particular order. We've just chosen 21 moments. So we start with Neeraj Chopra's winning gold at the Olympics. Novak Djokovic's 20th Grand Slam title, where he's equal Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal. There is Australia's win, maiden T20 World Cup. That's the other one. So there you see. That's the second memorable moment that we were talking about. That's on your screen. That is Novak Djokovic's 20th Grand Slam title. Then Australia's maiden T20 World Cup win, when no one gave them a chance. They were obviously, they're giants in ODIs, but T20s to come and win like that. Then India's Test Series win in Australia against all odds. Your captain goes back. He's not part of the team. There are injuries. You got out at one point for 36, but to script a win like that in Australia, absolutely brilliant. Then, of course, I think this is for all the Pakistani cricket fans. They waited for this long enough, finally defeating India in the T20 World Cup and ending, that drought really with a 10-wicket triumph. But it was really the way Pakistan bossed that match. I think nobody expected that, given how good India's batting is, how good India's team had performed going into the T20 World Cup. But yes, those are the top or the 5 moments at the. Let's talk about that first,
Right.
And let's get to Pankaj straight away. Which is the one that stands out for you, Pankaj, out of these 5?
Well, as an Indian sports person, I would obviously choose our Olympic performances. I would not just restrict it to one gold medal winning performance. Yes, I do know, that Neeraj Chopra, we all know that he is the star of Indian sport at the moment, and he created history. And the best part was that it came right at the end. So, we were waiting in anticipation for a huge medal. And what better way to finish off our Olympic campaign than to do it with a gold medal from Neeraj. So that obviously stands out as a huge performance in the context of Indian sport. But I also feel that all our medalists, the bronze medalists, the silver medalists, even those who came really close to winning medals, like Aditi Ashok, for example, or even the women's hockey team. I believe Indian hockey has come a long way. And they proved it at the Olympics, and now they are also performing really well in other international events. So I think the whole Olympic performance as a whole, I would believe that at the Ashok right there, and some of our heroes, the hockey teams, have really come of age and improved by leaps and bounds.
Yeah. So what you've done, Pankaj, is that you have got 4 of our different moments and put them all together, because we had them separately, given that this is from an Indian lens. And, as Indian journalists, we were putting these moments out. But yes, we put Neeraj Chopra as one moment. Then, of course, all the other medals as another moment. Then India winning a bronze in hockey as another moment, and Aditi Ashok just carrying the flag again for India. And especially when no one really were looking at her event, no one was talking about it, and then suddenly, you had her, and everybody was talking about it. Everybody was talking about how she'd been performing. So yeah, the thing that stands out, though, for me, with the Neeraj Chopra performance, Abhishek, was also not just the way he won the gold, but the way he owned the field.
True.
Coming into this against Johannes Vetter, who'd already thrown 90 plus.
7 times.
Yeah, 7 times. For Neeraj to come and then even the throw, the confidence that he showed, there was
he
no
did not even
nerves.
look back when the spear was going, when the javelin was landing, he did not even look, and he looked back and he was just celebrating. So he just, as you correctly mentioned, he just owned the field. I think these 5 moments, that thing that stands out, apart from Novak Djokovic, of course, with the form that Novak Djokovic is in, we were expecting that maybe not this year, maybe some later year he would have equaled Federer and Nadal. But all these other 4 moments, Neeraj Chopra, of course, going into the World Cup, Olympics, Vetter was the favorite. 7 times he threw 90 meters. He had the second best distance, 97.76. So, and the other 3 cricket moments, Australia, nobody gave them a chance. Nobody gave them a chance to even reach the semi-finals, from the group stage.
Yeah.
Again, India's Test series win in Australia. Australia have never, before that match at the Gabba, they had never lost at that ground since 1988. Yeah. And of course, Pakistan defeating India. It's for Indian cricket fans, it's sort of given, like whenever there's a World Cup and there's India-Pakistan match, India will win. But it did not happen this time, thanks to some brilliant performances by Shaheen Afridi, Mohammad Rizwan, Babar Azam. So the surprise factor in these 4 instances really stands out. And Novak Djokovic, of course, I think, though he's currently equaling Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal, I think, and maybe 2 years down the line we'll say that he's the GOAT.
That's right. I think he's already now at the top of the world rankings for 353 weeks. And by the time he's done, he would have surpassed all the greats. But let's move on then. Let's move on to teenager Emma Raducanu winning the US Open for the first British woman since 1977 to win a major. And to think that she was, she's a teenager. And in some ways, just passing on the baton from Serena Williams. This is the next generation that we are seeing, right, of good women's tennis players. Then there is Max Verstappen, crowned F1 champion. But just the way the drama of, coming to the end of the final Grand Prix, the final lap, and then winning there in style. And of course, there was some controversy as well there. So then there is also the other moment of Italy winning Euro 2020. They won the European Championship for the first time since 1968. But again, the final was a thrilling final. That's the kind of final that one would expect in a penalty shootout. England fans left heartbroken yet again at Wembley, where Italy creating history. Then we move on to Aditi Ashok. As we mentioned earlier, Pankaj spoke about her as well, making a mark at the 2020 Olympics, narrowly missing the medal, but of course winning 1 billion hearts. And people suddenly started talking about Aditi Ashok, started talking about golf, started following golf because of her performance. Then the recent silver medal won by Kidambi Srikanth at the World Badminton Championship, becoming the first Indian male shuttler to enter the final. So these are the next 5. Let's get talking about this. Pankaj, the ones that stand out for you in this? You were talking about Aditi Ashok.
Talk about Novak Djokovic's season as a tennis player. And, I do follow a lot of tennis. So I thought, why not talk about his amazing 2021 season that he's had. It's really unfortunate if you're a Novak Djokovic fan for him to lose out on the last Grand Slam, the US Open final, because he would have completed a calendar, Grand Slam of all 4 majors, to equal Federer and Nadal's Grand Slam tally is just phenomenal. In 1 year, to win 3 out of 4. To compete with the youngsters who are a good 6, 7, probably even 10 years younger than him is just remarkable. And even Federer and Nadal aren't able to do that as of now. So that just shows you Djokovic's will to win, his attitude on the court, his never say die mantra, which has taken him to almost GOAT status. I think if he wins 1 more Grand Slam, then there won't be any doubt as to who the greatest of all time is, as far as tennis is concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. And just talking about these 10 moments, Abhishek, one of the things being Kidambi Shrikant creating history
True.
by winning a silver at the World Badminton Championship. For so long, it has really been women's singles, right? That's been in the forefront. But now for men's singles, I think this title and the way even Lakshya Sen performed, 2 Indians in the semi-final, it seems to have brought Indian badminton males out of the shadows of the women's singles, isn't that so?
I mean, if the last 5 were like stood out because of the surprise factor, I think these 5, the 5 we just mentioned, they stand out for the sheer drama, right? I mean, Kidambi Shrikant, we all know the kind of fear that he had. He performed really poorly. He had injury, he could not qualify for the Olympics, and then from there to come and win the silver medal at the World Championship, it takes a lot of heart, and he really showed that. Apart from that, of course, Italy winning the Euro, penalty shootout. This was the first time since, I think, 1968 that they won the title, and this was the first time since 1976 that the Euro title has been decided to penalty shootout. So you can understand the drama involved. Then we have, of course, Max Verstappen. Many people, they don't really consider F1 that much a sport because of the involvement of machines. It so much depends on the machine, the F1 car. Mercedes, Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes, they have been dominating so much. From there, Max Verstappen, a Dutch F1 champion coming and just setting the track on fire, and he won in the last. So the sheer drama of all these achievements, even Aditi Ashok, like she got the whole country talk about golf, right? So I mean, these 5 moments, I think they stand out for the sheer drama that they produced.
Okay, let's move on then. At number 11, or again, the next moment is high jumpers sharing the Olympic glory. And Italy's Gianmarco Tamberi and Qatar's Mutaz Barshim, they asked for a gold medal each. And why this was wonderful to watch was that this just kind of showed us the solidarity that binds sports together. That's what, we look at. So both were asked if they were okay with getting a gold medal each, and the 2 good friends that they are, they said, yes, why not? Then there is Messi's international trophy. Finally, that drought of international trophies ends for Messi. He wins the Copa America final for Argentina. There is Ronaldo's return to Manchester United. It was an emotional homecoming of sorts for Ronaldo and for Manchester United fans. After 12 years, he came back. Then there is Sunil Chhetri surpassing Pele's 77 international goals. He shares the 2nd spot with Messi at 80 and behind Ronaldo 115. Also, India's return, as we've already talked about a while back, with India's return with the record Olympic medal haul: 1 gold, 2 silver and 4 bronze. That's where our next 5 moments. Abhishek, take us through them.
I mean, of course, let's start with the high jumper story. I mean, that was, I think, the most picture perfect moment of the Tokyo Olympics, right? I mean, we all talk about this Olympic movement and the sporting spirit, and none was more visible than this high jump event, where Tamberi and Bashim, they shared the gold medal, Olympic gold medal. They had a chance, to decide through a playoff to decide the gold and silver medal, but they showed sheer friendship and sheer respect for each other, and they shared the gold medal. Messi, of course, it's such a long wait for him, right? I mean, the man has got 7 Ballon d'Ors. He's arguably he is the greatest football player ever, and for his trophy cabinet to be without an international trophy, it was nothing short of an abomination, and he really ended the drought. Ronaldo, of course, for the Manchester United fans, it was sheer nostalgia, right? I mean, it was not about money. Manchester City almost had Ronaldo in their kitty, but it was at the last moment, I think it was Sir Alex Ferguson who convinced him to come to Manchester United. Of course, at a very less price. He's not among the top earning footballers right now. Still, he came to Manchester United and he scored 2 goals in his first match on return. Sunil Chhetri, I mean, you Baichung Bhutia, Sunil Chhetri, and Indian football, these names are kind of synonymous, right? I mean, he has been carrying Indian football for so long.
Yeah.
And this year, although Sunil Chhetri, for a long time, he has been saying this, like all these records, equaling Pele and Messi. Well, it really sounds good, but that's just about it. But still, we need to celebrate it, right? I mean, for a sport like football, where India has nothing really great to show in 2021 apart from one SAF championship win, he stood out.
Why
And
not?
of course, I mean, the Olympic medal haul, I think Pankaj can come in this. Like, how big was this 7 medal halls, right? I mean, but nobody expected so many medal halls, right, Pankaj?
Yeah, it's great for Indian sport that we have Olympic medalists across different disciplines. I always believe that for Indian sport to prosper, we need champions in each of these different disciplines of sport. We need icons. We need people to inspire the newer generation, the younger generations to take up the sport and take it to the next level. You have, even in football, we were talking about Sunil Chhetri, we had Baichung Bhutia earlier, we have Sunil Chhetri to inspire the youngsters that, it's possible to score so many international goals. It's possible to, win titles for your club, or, to do well for your country. And then, of course, the Olympics, where you have, boxers, wrestlers, people across different sports doing so well. And that's really a great sign. But should we be happy with one gold? I still don't think that's something that we should be entirely happy about. Of course, the fact that we have our largest medal haul it shows us that we're in the right direction, but we need to aim for more. We need to aim for more gold medals, and I'm sure with Neeraj's performance, that will definitely change in the next 4 to 8 years.
Also, Pankaj, what this Tokyo Olympics did, of course, with the whole COVID cloud hanging around, was that it gave everybody the hope that things can get back to normal. The way the Olympics were conducted, during this whole COVID scare, there was also calls for cancelling the tournament, but for it to end in the way it did, gave everybody hope. And this is what everybody's been dealing with this whole year, the COVID mess. There have been cancellations of tournaments. How have you kept yourself motivated through this time? What have you been doing? How have you been connecting with your fans? What has your routine been like before you got back to, of course, competing?
That's the most difficult part of the last 1.5, 2 years. The fact that athletes had to sit out, not knowing when their next tournament would be held, not knowing how much they need to train. It's just like an injury, really. When you're forced to sit out and you just don't know when you're going to compete next. It was very similar to that. And of course, dealing with the pandemic situation came with its own risks. Many of us got infected with COVID. I mean, I got it myself a year ago. And it's difficult to deal with that mentally more than anything else. So the fact that the Olympics took place, and I spoke to a lot of sports journalists, and they said that only Japan could have pulled it off, because with their kind of technology and their kind of planning and organizing, it is only a country like Japan that could have pulled it off. So hats off to them also for giving the world and their own country a reason to look forward to something more cheerful and happy during these tough times. Personally, the tournaments have been very, few and far between for me as well. And I'm just glad that, whenever we got to play in the international tournaments, I was able to bring back 2 gold medals for the country. I hope someday that will also be added to the 21 moments, maybe in the next year, hopefully 2022. But look, it's been a great year for sports consumers and fans. And as you were talking about, I thought maybe I would also like to talk about how sport brings out different kinds of emotions, whether it's, something to do with drama, like Max Verstappen's victory over Hamilton, and how, it's serendipity in a way that a crash took place and then the safety car came in. And because of that, the lead was reduced for Hamilton. And one could argue that it was controversial, but I guess all was kind of within the rules of Formula One. Not that I follow it too much, but when I saw it on YouTube, it was just absolutely thrilling.
Yeah.
Then to look at uh, the high jumpers from Italy and Qatar share their medals. That's such a wonderful story of sportsmanship. To look at so many different angles of sport, people breaking records, people losing out in the last minute. I think it's just phenomenal for the world of sport, and hopefully in 2022 we'll get to see some more wonderful moments like these.
Absolutely. Let's move on with that then. We had ended this on India's return with record Olympic medal haul. Let's move on then. Sushil Kumar arrested in a murder case. He's also the prime accused in Sagar Dhankar's killing. This was a moment that shook, the Indian sporting fraternity. It also was really difficult to understand as to what were the circumstances that led to it. Of course, then there is the Indian hockey team. We've spoken about that wins the bronze medal. It's the first medal since 1980 Moscow Gold. And there is a different feeling when India wins in hockey. People are far more emotional, and we saw that from a billion people who were extremely thrilled after India beat Germany in that bronze medal match. Moving on to Ajaz Patel creating history. He took 10 wickets in the test in Mumbai, third after Jim Laker and Anil Kumble. And what a wonderful story again for Ajaz Patel, born in Mumbai, sort of, his home of sorts, and then to come back there and to take 10 wickets, creating history. Then at 20, at 19, we have mental health issue in sports. We spoke about this as well. Naomi Osaka, Simone Biles, the key examples. Of course, there's Ben Stokes, who came out and talked about mental health. Vinesh Fogart, she came out and talked about the importance of mental health and how she dealt with it. So more and more athletes spoke about mental health, about prioritizing mental health, which was such a good sign, which changed the narrative around, sports people and them being mentally strong. Let's move on then to the social media buzz about hashtag where is Peng Shuai. Of course, now there's a media interview that has come where people are where she's talking about how she's fine, and the story has been misunderstood. But the circumstances of her disappearance was disconcerting. And then the last one was Tiger Woods' horrific car accident, stayed out of action for 10 months. That completes our 21 moments. Abhishek, you want to take us through the last 6 moments?
Yeah,
and what was the most important one here?
Well, most important, if I have to pick, I think it was Indian hockey team's bronze medal, right? I mean, if you leave out cricket, I think hockey is the only sport which has mass appeal in India, right? And they have been waiting for so long for that one medal, and they came so close. The women's team came so close, and the men's team, they won the bronze medal. So I think it has the potential to usher in a new era in Indian hockey. At the same time, the shocker was of Sushil Kumar, right? I mean, he's India's greatest ever wrestler, and for him to end the year behind the bars, it's not a great thing for Indian sport, and it's really surprising how things turned out for him. You know how the circumstances which led to this situation, the company he kept, and all those. Ajaz Patel, another moment of individual brilliance, right, in a history. I mean, more than a century year old history of international cricket. He is only the third cricketer to take 10 wickets in innings. Mental health, of course, as you correctly mentioned, it's really great to see, for all sports persons. We talked about Naomi Osaka, Simone Biles, Vinesh Fogart, even Ben Stokes also. He took break from mental health. So I think the sports person showing the courage to be open about their mental health issues, and it should be lauded. Peng Shui, again, we saw how the world over, how the hashtag where is Peng Shui trended, and the unified front that everybody put up. So that was also great. Tiger Woods' accident, of course, like Sushil Kumar's accident, it was another shocker. Though he's safe now, he's back into tournaments. But again, it was strange. He was driving over and above the speed limit when he crashed. So those were the two shockers, Sushil and Tiger Woods.
Okay, Pankaj, what are the ones that stand out? For me, it was really the mental health and how more and more players came out and spoke about it. Can you tell us your assessment of what this means now for sports in general? The fact that more and more athletes are coming out and talking about it, this is going to change the narrative around mental health and the stigma that it has, right?
You know, one would think that the sports people and athletes are the most mentally sound and sane, but it takes so much out of you, you know, to perform for your country, to face all the challenges, the pressures, physical training, technical training, to maintain those standards, to deal with defeats, to know so many times that, you know what, my opponent's better than me, to actually accept that reality and to somehow deal with it and still come out there and try your best to perform. But I'll tell you what the beauty of sport is, that it's not always that the best athlete wins. And I'm not only talking about winning and losing. I understand that, you know, some of the points that you were discussing about sports persons getting into controversies or not facing the media for some reasons. There's a lot more going on in the mind of the athlete, which we don't really get to feel or we don't really get to empathize with them until the moments came when Osaka started talking about it.
Right.
But I'll tell you, as an athlete, you have to be equipped to deal with different kinds of situations. And I know that mental health is still at a very nascent stage in India. Sports psychology is. Fortunately, I have a brother, you know, Shri, who is a sports psychologist. So I constantly get trained and coached mentally. And even if nothing is wrong with me, even if I'm doing really well in my game, it's all about how sane you are and how well you keep yourself, you know, mentally. As much as it's about physical fitness and being in peak condition and trying to peak during tournaments, it's also about how peaceful you are, how happy you are about doing what you're doing, irrespective of the result. So, as you said, yes, mental health is very, very important. I also feel that social media adds that pressure to athletes, and somehow over the years, especially over the last 2 years, I've tried to keep my social media interactions on various apps like Twitter, Instagram, etc., more positive and try to engage the fans and try to talk about more positive things in this world rather than talking about controversies and you know, the negative things, because we have enough of them. You know, we see enough of that in the news. We see enough of that all over the place. So if I had to talk about mental health, yes, definitely we need to address some of the issues that the athletes face. And I think there is no harm in asking for help professionally. You know, that it doesn't mean that something is wrong with you. It just means that you're trying to, you know, program your mind and clear yourself of certain demons that are there and be more peaceful. And especially with high pressure jobs, not even in the world of sport, even in the glamour world, there is so much of pressure to look good, to be at your best, and to always, you know, portray this image of, that I'm flawless and things like that. So we're living in a very competitive world. Sometimes we need to take a step back and just get down to the basics and you know, take some time off even with our families and regroup and refresh. So I just feel, yes, mental health is the most important topic right now, and we definitely need to address it.
All right. So with that, we complete our 21 greatest moments of 2021. What did you think of it? Did we miss out on any? Do let us know. Pankaj Advani, also, thank you so much for taking the time out and talk to us. It's such a pleasure, and we hope that you have a wonderful 2022, as we hope for everybody else, all our viewers watching as well. Abhishek Paul, thank you so much for putting that list of 21 big moments. That's it from us. Do join us for all the latest from the world of sports here on News9 Digital. For now, goodbye. Thanks for watching.